Alright, controls and features A. First thing I gotta do is go get the car.
Is the hat out of the way?
I don't know. If it is, it is. If it isn't, it isn't. Oh well.
Put it backwards.
I don't want to put my hat backwards. Huh?
Your hat.
Just been told by Mel to put my hat backwards.
I only want one if that's it.
Sorry for the shaking. Go. So the next car in our line is this Nissan right here. Our jump box is our cone, basically. Tells us where to start from. So I'm gonna go ahead and move our cone back to the next vehicle. Come back to the Nissan. Check this white tag right here. Make sure that the VIN number matches. Seems like it is. Everything's all good. I'm gonna check the locks and make sure that the key works inside the door lock. Everything works just fine. Go ahead and put the key in the ignition. I'm gonna check for the OBD2 connector, so I can check my codes right now in a bit as soon as I roll in, which I cannot find. I'll check it right now when I get down. Start the vehicle. I usually roll down the windows. Well, sometimes these vehicles stink, so let it air out. And we drive to our rack. Go ahead and get guided on by Ange. Okay, now go ahead and put it in park, put the e-brake on, turn on my lights. She does my light check. Check the brights. Check the fog lights. Put the car in reverse. She'll check the reverse lights and the rear tail lights. Everything's all good. After that's done, I'm gonna go ahead and pop the trunk, pop the gas tank, pop my hood. I need to connect the scanner to the OBD2 connector. Make sure to see if there's any codes with the vehicle. While I'm doing that, go ahead and get my tablet. Mel's got to go open the stock number, an IMS for this vehicle. Seven. Seems like this vehicle's already been done before. There's no codes on the scanner, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put in input the correct mileage. Get out of the vehicle. Would check for tire size, but the tire placard's not there. If it's not there, we usually go off of what the size it has right now. It's got aftermarket wheels. Alright. 245. 8. 15. Go ahead and turn off the vehicle. Turn off the lights. Need to find the manufacturing date, which is the last thing I need to input on this vehicle for now. Which is 12/2004. Go ahead and grab my handy dandy battery tester. Lift up the hood, make sure that the hood shocks are working properly. Check for any damage on the hood at all. I'm going to go ahead and connect my battery tester and test the battery. Cold cranking amps is at 600, so that's what I will put now. It's testing. It's asking me if the battery temperature is above or below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. It's above. It says replace battery, so now I have to replace the battery. So once I replace that, gotta yell it out for the stock number. Battery 1387. I have to get our battery saver. Or memory saver, my apologies for that. Connect our memory saver into the DLC. Go ahead and turn it on. Excuse me? Check to see if there's a battery hold down. Obviously there's not. Go ahead and remove battery. Cable terminals. If not, I want to. Okay. Take out the battery. Number 24F. Go ahead and reconnect cables. Get the right socket for that one. 10. Good to go. Now, usually prepare myself. Next thing on the list is to check hoses. Make sure none of them are swollen or leaking. Go ahead and check the bottom hose right there too. Make sure that's not leaking. And check the belts. Checking the belts. Everything looks good. Right from there, we're supposed to check the apron. Make sure that there's no bends, no welds, aftermarket welding. Make sure that there's no damage at all. Okay, after that is completed, need to check my AC. Make sure that I do not see any leaks at all. Make sure that all my AC port caps are there. Once that is finished, go ahead and check the air filter. have the tech resecure that. Air filter is fine. The next thing we got to do is check fluids. Usually I just start off with the ones that take the longest. Should end up being your washer fluid and your coolant. Sometimes that does end up taking a little longer than what it should be, but oh well. Making sure the coolant is topped off. Go ahead and put a little bit of the blue stuff in the washer reservoir. Check my power steering fluid, make sure everything's filled up correctly. It is. Go ahead and I'm going to pull off my oil filler cap. Make sure that there's no sludge inside the engine at all. If there is, we report it to John. This one's fine. Go ahead and check our oil. Make sure it's within spec. Needs to be. Make sure it is within the spec for our guidelines to change it. Our guidelines is good to go. Last thing I usually end up checking, since I am on this side, will be the brake fluid reservoir. Make sure that the cap's not swollen, none of the seals are swollen, everything looks good, everything's filled. Now yell up so that way we can bring the vehicle up. Check the undercarriage. Up! While it's going up, I usually go ahead and input stuff I've needed to replace or secure. Vehicle needed the battery hold down. Go ahead and check for frame damage. We'll check the pinch rails first and make sure that there's no clamp marks. We'll go on the inside. Check them on the inside. And check the frame down here. We'll check the CV boots and everything else and make sure nothing's leaking or torn. If anything is torn, I will replace it. Check for oil leaks. Looking at the compressor, check for leaks. And it seems like we have a coolant leak here. Yeah, yes, we do. If I'm not mistaken, it looks like the radiator, lower radiator hose. So I'll replace the lower radiator hose for this vehicle. Other than that, everything looks good. Engine's already signaled to go down, so we'll bring the vehicle down. Put down the replace the lower radiator hose. Once the vehicle is down, the next thing I do is go ahead and open the door. I usually check the door seal to make sure nothing is torn. Check the weather stripping to make sure everything's fine. Go ahead and disconnect our memory saver. Put it back. Jump in the vehicle. Start vehicle. Press the horn. Make sure that works. Check for the steering wheel. Make sure everything works. If that is done, check the climate control. I can turn it on. There we go. Door works. Mode. Check the vents. Make sure that's okay. It looks good. Radio's working. Pop in our CD. Check the climate controls. Go ahead and check my wipers and washers and make sure everything's okay. Everything looks good. I gotta check my interior lights, make sure that's fine. Interior lights is good to go. There we go. Alright. Check my seat function, forward, backward. Seat up, front, down, everything looks good. Back is fine. Check to see if I've got a lumbar. That works. Alright, I'll check my seat belt. Good to go. Now I'll check all my equipment, power locks. It's open. You gotta, yours is bad. I'm gonna diag it for you. Make sure that the windows work. I'm good to go. This is not considered a sunroof, so I ain't gonna worry about it. Check the side mirrors, make sure that they operate correctly, up and down, left and right. Okie dokie. Check the visor. It's good to go. Check my seat pedal or foot pedals, I'm sorry. Those are there. Headrest. Good too. Open down the seat belt. Excuse me, sir.
Oh yeah.
Check the rear door. Or body seal.
Tire specs.
Everything's fine. Check the child safety lock. Turn it on and off. Make sure it works properly. Throw my window back up. Go ahead, connect rear seat belt. Make sure that works. Make sure the headrest works. I'm gonna look at my vents right here. Make sure that works. Good to go. Close the door. Go ahead and check to see if there's anything I need to write down that wasn't on there. this tablet does take a little while long. My apologies. Okay, so all I needed was the diag, her right rear power door lock.